I was born in Alexandria, Pennsylvania, December 17th, 1924. The Depression came during that period of time, the latter part of the 20s. In the small community that I was raised in, everyone was poor. I graduated with 39 people, so you can see that it was a small community when I graduated in 1943. I would say almost half were men, and everyone except one was drafted. Everybody was concerned about the war. Even the women were getting jobs in factories, manufacturing equipment for the war. We all felt basically the same, and we were positive about the situation at that particular time to do whatever we could to help. And for that reason, we accepted the draft and getting into the service. And I graduated on the 26th of May, and I ended up on June the 6th at Camp Maxey, Texas, doing basic training, infantry training. Then, of course, after we went through that phase, we were on maneuvers for another 3 months and so on. We were transferred to New York City, and beginning of the next year, 1944, we were transported by ship over to England. While we were stationed in England, we were still in training and so on, and it was obvious that pretty much what we were going to do, or what we would have to do. There was only a couple of days before we knew that we were going to be transferred from outside of London down to the coastline. When we got on ships the night before, we were then transferred after we crossed over a great distance to a landing craft vessel. It was quiet, and then all of a sudden there was chatter, and then quiet again, and so on. I really can't recall much about what was going through my mind at that particular time, but I'm sure that I was thinking, I hope and pray that things will go okay for me. And I was thinking about my family at home, my dad and mother. Once I was in the water, there were so many of us relatively close to each other, so we had to be careful that we weren't bumping into each other. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about reaching the beach itself, just moving as fast as I could, because everybody at that point had to move as fast as they could. On our backs were about 60 pounds that we had to carry and through the water and onto the beach. As soon as we hit the beach, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A few of the German planes came over the beach and started machine gunning the beach. Fortunately, we were able to move right up to the edge of a farmer's field. There were a lot of trees there, thank goodness, and that's when we started to dig in. We were told to dig our foxholes. Fortunately, that we did land in the afternoon rather than in the morning. It was a lot easier for us to survive. The thing that amazed me, not only in the invasion, but even during the war, that the American soldiers who were killed were picked up right away. Those who were wounded were picked up right away, where of course the Germans were not, because, and I could understand that, because they were retreating at the time. Our company was in Cologne, and Cologne was a destroyed, very, very large city in Germany. And the only thing that was left was a big cathedral. There was a lot of people killed, American soldiers killed, and German soldiers killed too, but I guess when you're young, I was 19 at the time, so I felt good, and all the men that I knew, they felt good and so on, that the war was over and that we're still living and so on.